Welcome back to All Night Night 7. We're here at Armageddon and we've got Mr. Entertainment himself. Wayne, how good's that atmosphere out there?
It's quality, honestly. I don't do as many of these as I used to because there's a couple of reasons. One, I don't get asked. No, I'm joking, just life takes over. I don't do as many, and I don't practice as much, so I don't kind of give it. Come on, book me. And I played Adam Paxton. He was incredible. Honestly, what a talent. Very good at treble 20s, absolutely appalling on the outer ring. Practice, pal, practice.
The 180 run around as always. It's a big arena, isn't it? Did you misjudge it slightly?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I was just pleased to hit a 180. I only played two legs, so to hit one, he's pretty good for me. That was on the back of a 140, just to let you know. Not lost it completely. Yeah, I did misjudge it, yeah. I'll tell you what I misjudged, not just the distance, because it's a big arena. I misjudged my pace. My pace was a little slick, and halfway round I'm thinking I'm in trouble here, but I'm all right now. I'm all right.
To show where darts is, that we've got an exhibition with over 2,000 people in, how far the sport has come in a short space of time.
Yeah. We do a lot of kind of galas, and like they call them in Germany and Holland. But not many, which is why they're really kind of they're attended greatly. But in England, big ones like this, there are a lot of them, but not the 7,000-8,000. So to get another one for 2,000 is incredible. And Leicester as well is a bit of a hotbed of darts. So it's good to be here, of course, but it just seems like that it's like a bit of the growth spurt since the Worlds, whether it's the Littler effect, I don't know, I'm just assuming. If you say that to the other players that I'm here with, Michael Smith, Nathan Aspinall, Daryl Gurney, they might agree or disagree. They like to think it's them. But the world of darts is in such a great spot.
It's funny you should say that, because Smithy said something in his interview after winning last night, and he said, there are a few that are getting the hump now with the attention Luke Littler is getting. He didn't name them, which I wouldn't expect him to, but there is kind of a, hang on a minute, why are you not looking at me? Are you surprised it's taken this long to come out, or are you not surprised that it's now being spoken about?
I've seen it 4 times now in my career. I saw it as an absolute fan, as a watcher, where the professionals back in the day took a dislike to Eric Bristow. They were like, look, there's more than Eric to the world of darts. Well, yes, there was, and they're right, but Eric carried them through. Then it happened with Phil, and I was one of them. So it changed. I was a viewer that saw the other players hate what Eric was doing. Then I was a player that was like, hold on, I'm the second favourite for a world title here. Why am I getting like no press? The bottom line is someone had to be second favourite. Phil was the absolute master, and it was, why is he getting all the attention? Well, why wouldn't he? You realise when you step back, and then it was Michael van Gerwen. Oh, Michael, and again, I was a bit of a player, but when Michael was really kind of Michael 2.0, it was, why is he getting all the plaudits? There's more than Michael. Now we're getting it again. And they're all right, everyone's right, but look, the game, the sport, no matter what the sport, needs a headliner. And at the moment, feel a bit sorry for Luke Humphries. I do, as world #1 and world champ. But Littler's the one that's gaining the headlines, and the others are gaining off the back of it. So they need to realise that their pockets are being filled on the back of Luke Littler, and trust me, they are.
On that 17-year-old sensation
Phenom,
that we're seeing, he's topped the Premier League on debut, and there's so many things being said about him. Could he go on and be the greatest from what you're seeing? I know there's a lot of things could happen between now and then, but what you see right now, could he go on and be the greatest?
Where I dislike, and I get involved in this argument, because I've seen darts from Michael van Gerwen, a standard that Phil Taylor couldn't match. But I've also seen a consistency from Phil Taylor that Michael van Gerwen couldn't match. So there is a bona fide argument, who's the greatest? Everyone always says it's the titles that Phil Taylor won. No one not Luke Littler, not someone Luke Littler 0.20, like we said about Van Gerwen, that comes along in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, better than whoever, better than Phil, is going to win 16 world titles. There's too many good players. When Phil won 16, there wasn't this great big pool of players, let alone a great big pool of good players. There was the World Championships back in the early days was made up mainly of journeymen. That a lot of them couldn't qualify for the BDO. They could only qualify for the PDC.
Yeah.
So let's get it right. Phil Taylor was an absolute, he beat me literally every day of the week, barring once, twice, three times. So to judge Luke Littler at this moment and to basically compare, and I've always said comparison is the thief of joy. What he's doing right now is incredible. To top the Premier League table is just incredible. And what he goes on and does, I don't know. Michael Van Gerwen has been very vocal in saying that Luke Humphries is the best player in the world. That's good enough for me. I believe right now Luke Littler is not even the best player in the world. It's Luke Humphries for me. But whatever he goes on and achieves, I hope he grows in the game. I hope he enjoys it, because not everyone gets better. We've seen potential from players that never comes to pass, never comes to fruition. We've also seen those that have hit the ground running that have never got any better. So we don't know what's going to happen with Luke. All we know is right now is that the kid is a phenom, and let's enjoy him.
Last night in Sheffield, one game we were all focusing on. Heartbreak for Nathan Aspel, missing out 2 years in a row on the last day. We know he's a tough kid, but this is going to take some coming back from and getting over, isn't it? 2 years in a row, the way it happened.
Do you know what? Last night I'd have agreed with that, but I've been with him this evening.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, I'm going to lose games. I'm going to win games. I just lost the wrong game. You know, and you're like, wow, what an attitude.
Yeah.
And he was joking with Michael Smith. Michael Smith was kind of joking, giving it, you're in there, mate, you're in me pocket. And he's like, oh no, I know, and all that. Someone that I think has kind of taken it really kind of to heart, and maybe overthinking it, wouldn't react like that. But I think Nathan, and we know he's such a great guy. He's a great trier. He loves the game. But he also sees it long term as well. I really do believe that. And how he's spoken tonight, I'm not concerned about him at all. I really am not. Last night, shared your view.
Michael Van Gerwen, we saw an equipment change from him back to the darts that he won the 2020 UK Open with. And I actually did look at the stats from that tournament today, because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how good he was when he won that tournament. But were you surprised we saw the change last night?
I didn't realise it was those darts. I knew I'd seen them similar. They're very similar now when they had a change. But I knew they were heavier. And I, again, chatted with Michael, and we were practising together. He wanted to play me for money, which he always does. And my game's not where it should be. So I was like, I'm not playing you. Not today, pal. No, not today. No. Just let you know, a couple of times I've come out on top. Not recently, but a couple of times. Anyway, getting back to his darts, he said, I've been wanting to use heavier darts for so long, so I just haven't felt confident enough. So I said, so you did last night? Yeah, and his scoring was good last night. It was good. Yes, there were some dodgy throws in there, but he knows that. But practicing with him earlier, he said, he's saying to, literally, I'm not near the board, and he's like, look how they're sitting. He loves the way they're sitting in the board. I think that he is now happy with what he's doing. And the way he played in that final week he was in trouble against Rob Cross.
100% 4-1
He was in trouble, but got himself out. The week before, he was in trouble against Price. The week before. Yeah. Got himself out of it. When you're lacking a lot of confidence, you can't do that. You just think you're going to get beat. Against Luke Humphries, he just got beat. It was a good game. He averaged 101, 102, played well. It wouldn't surprise me if Van Gerwen won the Premier League finals now. Going into, I've changed my mind over the last couple of, literally since last night. Aspinall, yeah, I agreed with you that could have taken some coming back from. Michael van Gerwen, excuse me, I didn't think he was in a spot to win the Premier League. I kind of do now. And the way he's been thrown upstairs, I'm not kidding you, it's literally 140, 180. And I mean for like elongated periods of practice. Been having a throw with him, chatting. He's not concentrating. Okay, pressure might play its part, which it will, of course it will, on Thursday. But his game and himself, I think he just feels a bit more confident, and that will do for me.
He's your boy again then, yeah?
He's my boy again. I like it, yeah. Yeah, do you know what? I wouldn't rule it out at all.
One thing I want to pick you up on, that you said earlier in the Premier League, and now it's kind of makes sense. You said you'd be surprised if Gerwyn Price lasted course and distance of this year's Premier League. He did, all bar 1 week injured, but last night the white flag and the towel seemed to go in, and again we've had an Instagram post. I'd like to say I enjoy it, but I didn't. Is the Premier League just not for some people? And can you see Gerwyn Price, for how good he is, not playing another Premier League?
I can, yeah. Mark Webster and I were doing a Q&A earlier, and he basically said he's reacted and he'll be there. Whilst he might, of course, yeah, to turn down an invitation to the Premier League is something you have to think about. Gerwyn Price is very reactionary, so however he feels on that moment, he'll post. And he's got a habit of doing it. Yeah. But don't forget, he also pulled out of the Masters. He's also pulled out of other events. He also threatened to pull out of the World Championships. And I think you've hit on a good point about the Premier League not being for everyone. Not because my record was horrific in the Premier League. I enjoyed it up to a point.
Yep.
When you are getting beat, it's a horrible place to be. He enjoyed it last year. Going into the playoffs. Yeah. Because he was that good. He's not enjoying it this year because he's getting beat. Look, I think if he gets an invite, he may or may not accept it. That's if he gets an invite.
That was my next question. Is there a danger that he doesn't get an invite because of previous performances?
Yeah. If you show a dislike and say, I don't like it, and you don't turn up for 1 week, albeit, look, I don't know if he had a bad back or not, but if you're not reliable, why should you be relied upon?
Yeah.
Because he's got to be there. It's a responsibility.
100%.
It's a responsibility for every single player. Look, I got pulled out, so I know what it feels like. But it's one of those where if he's showing a dislike for an event, and they say to him, right, do you want to be in it or not? And he says yes, and then pulls out. Then you're not fulfilling your responsibility. I just feel that this year, missing one, not enjoying it, posting every week you're not enjoying it. Is there a possibility he doesn't get invited? Yes. In my opinion, yes.
Premier League format. We've had this one for 3 years now. Do you want to see a change? Has this format run its course, in your opinion?
It's a tough one. It's had 4 or 5, maybe even 6 different kind of alterations, isn't it? Yeah. We started with 7 players, then we went to 8, then it was draws, no draws, then it was knockout, then it was first to 6, then it was first to 7. And I played in a lot of those. I didn't know what day it was anyway. The format for me works for 8 players. Yeah. But I'd still like it to go back to a league phase, as in just play once 5 games of a night, so make it 10 players, or now you could actually make it 12. Well, you could have 6 games, best of 11. That would fit. Well,
I was going to ask you that because you work on the broadcast side of it. Could we get 6 games in comfortably, 12 players, and have the draw element back in there as well?
Yeah.
So that from a TV point of view, because you're involved in that, that's not an issue. That could happen.
Right. The reason this could happen, yes. If you have 6 players, and you say, right, it's first to 7, it's a possibility, but the draw element changes a lot of things.
Because of the extra legs you have to play.
Because of the extra legs. So if someone is 6-0 up but don't get to 7, you could have another. You could have another 6 legs. Couldn't you? If you play you've got to play all 12 then. I think it would work. Forget the draw element.
No draw, just
12 players. So 6 matches of a night.
Yeah.
6 matches of a night. Best of 11.
Yeah.
The reason that works is that right now we have 7 matches.
Best of 11.
Best of 11.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a bit of tinkering to do, but it's doable. And you are seeing 12 players. We're not seeing the same every year. No offence is meant when I say this to Peter Wright. No offence is meant to Gerwyn Price, who may not be invited. Peter Wright may not be invited. So you get rid of those, you've got 6. You then have 6 newcomers. I don't necessarily mean new to the Premier League.
Faces and
but those that weren't in it this year.
Yeah.
Then that could work. Yeah, I believe it could.
Well, on the pool of talent that we've got, it's interesting that you speak about that, because the World Series has almost become an extension of the Premier League. That yes, we've got a few extra ones, but that's not through choice. That's through some of the players going, I'm not playing, so they've had to make changes.
Yeah.
Are the PDC doing the players underneath a disservice at the moment by not trying to grow them?
It's what sells. No offence is meant, again, to so many players, but these players sell.
Yeah.
If you want to sell out venues, if you want to make it as big as you can, you invite the biggest players, you invite the best players. To invite those that are just bubbling under. They're well known. They're household known names in darts, but you have to invite the big hitters. You just have to. The PDC are such a slick outfit now, and I question them massively. Back in the day when I was a player, I'm seeing more now from the inside, thinking it was a good call that. Yeah, that was a good call as well. So I think that they've got more knowledge of the selling of the game than I have, and they seem to get it right. But look, we'd all like to see new faces, wouldn't we? But maybe to a point of we want to see 1 or 2 every now and again. Yeah. We can't just change everything. But look, the way darts is going, it's on a massive growth spurt. Darts is going well, so whatever they're doing, it's working.
Wayne, absolute pleasure talking to you as always.
And you, unusually.
It's been a while.